Now, you may remember a few years ago there was a brand called DinoPC, and well, they kind of went a little bit extinct. But guess what? They're back! Let's do this. If you like our video content on YouTube, then you're going to love what we put up on TikTok. That's right, we're hip, we're cool, or at least we think we are, but we do chuck a lot of behind the scenes videos on there, so it's definitely worth checking out. You can find us on TikTok at eTeknix or click the link in the description below. So a little while ago, DinoPC actually reached out to us, which was a little bit of a blast from the past for us, because as far as I was concerned, DinoPC had actually liquidated and, well, sold up shop, and that was the end of it. Obviously, trying times, recessions and all of that, but yeah, I had an email off them saying, how would you like to review one of our new systems? Turns out they were actually bought out by another brand, and yeah, this is what they sent us. So, we have probably the biggest box in the world, which is a bit weird because I know the spec of the system and well, it's got a Corsair 280X inside. So I am a little bit confused as to why this box is so big. But I've actually lost my knife, so we are going to use a scalpel and try and get this out of the box. So let's see what we get inside. So the box, I mean, I can't really fault them for packaging, and you guys know, if you've seen any of our system reviews in the past, you know exactly how we do this. We focus on kind of the packaging, what they do for you in terms of as a system integrator, why you should buy a system from brand A, brand B, instead of building it yourself. So to start with, packaging wise, I can't fault them for the packaging at all. I mean, the box itself, as DinoPC would probably say, is as big as a Tyrannosaurus Rex, and well, yeah, there's enough packaging material inside here to keep you warm in the winter. And there's actually a very good reason. As I mentioned, Jesus Christ, seriously. Okay, this is a bit ridiculous now. It's still going. Okay, and there is actually some at the bottom as well, but there's a very, very good reason why they've got all of this packaging material inside here, because you're not just getting a PC, you're actually getting a few accessories with it. So, we have the Corsair K55 and Harpoon RGB gaming keyboard and mouse combo. We do get some extra cables, I'm guessing for the power supply, so that if you did want to upgrade the system at a later date, then you have all of the relevant cables, which I really like the fact that system integrators do that, because it just goes to show that kind of they care about, you know, your future decisions as to what you want to do with your PC at a later date, not just kind of what you're doing now. You get the box for the motherboard, which inside there we do get kind of instructions for pretty much everything. The motherboard, for the case, your Windows 10 CD key, the Wi-Fi antennas, all of your cables, kettle leads, extra screws. So basically, again, if you want to upgrade it at a later date, you kind of have everything that you need to do exactly what you want, because a PC isn't just for Christmas. It is meant to be for life. It is meant to kind of last you a very, very long time. And they thought about that. So let's take a look at the system itself and get rid of this absolutely monumental mammoth of a box. So everything's out, and as I mentioned, kind of, I guess we get a first view of kind of some of the components that are going to be inside it. So ITX motherboard, because it is inside the Corsair Crystal 280X. Now I want to sort of see what they've done with the packaging on this, because if the outer packaging is anything to go by, this is going to be, well, pretty impressive as well. So the 280X I actually really, really like, and I can see straight away that it is white as well, which is always kind of a nice colour. I guess, you know, I'm getting a little bit sick and tired of the whole mundane black cases, and, you know, white just, I don't know, it looks a little bit crisper, a little bit cleaner. I personally prefer it. Obviously, everyone's going to have their own preference, and the beauty of, I guess, buying from a system integrator like DinoPC is the fact that you do get the ability to kind of spec things up. So if you don't like this case, go for something different. It's entirely up to you. The world is your oyster. So, inside, obviously, usual packaging for the actual case itself, and I'm starting to see straight away that there is, I guess, a few differences. So we all know that you can go on eBay and you can buy a system, and it's going to be built by someone that, well, doesn't really care about anything other than making a little bit of money on eBay. And the problem that you're going to get with that is there's going to be no kind of personalization to it. Yes, you get to kind of configure what CPU you want and things like that, but for the most part, you're going to be getting a chassis that is the chassis. You're going to be getting a motherboard that is the motherboard. It's simple as that. The thing that I like is the little touches. This is DinoPC, and straight away we can see that we have a little label on there. So it's nice to see that, I guess, back in the world again. If I turn it around this side, you can actually kind of get a first view of, I guess, what kind of packaging we're dealing with on the inside. And to me, buying from a system integrator like DinoPC, packaging is probably the most important thing, especially with a lot of cases these days, because they are tempered glass on pretty much every panel, and the 280X is no different. We have 4mm tempered glass on this side, we have it on the top, and we also have it on the front. Obviously the other panels are all steel or aluminium, depending on what case you go for. But that means that when you order something like this from the likes of DinoPC, you want to make sure that it's going to arrive in one piece. So packaging is a very, very important thing. And we can see that they haven't really skimped out on the inside either. Some brands use expanding foam. They've decided to go with just mass amounts of bubble wrap. So I might even make a little house with all this bubble wrap later, because I am pretty damn impressed with it. Just the sheer amount of it. But taking it out, and we kind of get the first view of exactly what's going on here. So we can see that they have used some of the best components pretty much on the market today. So let's talk a little bit about them specs. So spec-wise, this is, I guess, basically an all Corsair, all AMD, all ASUS system. So what we're looking at for starters is the motherboard. So to start with, we've got the ASUS ROG Strix B450i gaming motherboard. B450 makes it, I guess, a little bit more affordable, and also packs in a lot of power in a small form factor. For the processor, they've gone with the AMD Ryzen 7 3800X, one of the latest 3rd gen Ryzen processors, giving us huge performance and overclocking power. Speaking of overclocking, they have actually overclocked this CPU to 4.2 GHz, just giving it, I guess, a little bit of edge over the competition. For the memory, they've gone with the Corsair Vengeance RGB Pro. There's 16 gig, comprising of two 8 GB modules at 3000 MHz speeds. Now, sticking with the Corsair components, and to obviously go with the white 280X chassis, we've got the Corsair H100i RGB Platinum SE in white, which really does stand out with them white hoses and obviously the white fans. For storage, they've gone with two drives. They've gone with the Samsung 970 EVO 250 gig M.2 NVMe drive for your operating system, and for all them glorious games, they've gone with a Seagate Barracuda 2TB hard drive. Speaking of games, obviously a lot of it's going to come down to the graphics, and as I mentioned, all AMD. They've gone with the ASUS TUF Gaming X3 Radeon RX 5700 XT OC. So again, we've got a little bit extra performance compared to a stock 5700 XT. Again, keeping with the Corsair theme, they've gone with the RM750X 750 watt power supply. Now, the only other thing that you can't, I guess, physically see is the fact that they've gone with Windows 10 Home Edition. But again, if you're configuring this yourself, there's nothing stopping you maybe going for Windows 10 Pro, or I believe even with DinoPC, you can just completely eliminate the operating system because, well, we all know somewhere that generally we can get operating systems that little bit cheaper. Now, one key thing about buying a system from a system integrator is down to the warranty. If you were to kind of build this yourself, you'd probably find that you're going to get a 1-year warranty on basically every part. Well, with DinoPC, you're going to get a whopping 5-year warranty, which I guess when I'm talking about price a little bit later on in this video, that's going to be one of the key factors that really kind of, puts this into perspective. The only other thing I guess I really need to show you is, well, to talk about what I'd change on this system and what I wouldn't change, and well, them glorious benchmarks. So let's run them. So we've seen the performance. Now there are a few things I want to touch on now that we've kind of got the system powered up and everything. You can kind of see what the aesthetics are all about. There's a few things that personally I would have changed. Firstly, I don't understand why the cable management is kind of coming down here and to the front of the case. They could have just gone underneath. I probably would have gone for a slightly slimmer graphics card as well and maybe put some extra fans down the bottom. But again, I think this is something that you can configure yourself. One thing that is really weird is the fact that they have gone with the white AIO, but the fact that they've left the kind of black fans in at the front. Personally, I would have changed them to the white ones just to have a little bit of consistency, but again, this is going to bump up the price a little bit. The other weird thing is, I think the colour scheme looks absolutely amazing. The whole kind of white chassis and then the fans cycling between kind of a light blue to quite a bright purple, but the fact that the memory is white and then they've gone just standard RGB on the block. Now, I want to talk a little bit about pricing as well. Now, if you were going to build this system yourself, it actually comes in at £1,661.24. If you're going to buy this from DinoPC, it's going to come in at £1,875. But I think there are a few little tweaks you could do to bring that price down. Now, to start with, personally, I think you're going to be paying a little bit extra for the keyboard and mouse combo. You can actually pick this up about 30 quid cheaper, kind of from a retailer than what DinoPC are charging you. Personally, I don't know anyone who goes to a system integrator, buys a system, and then also buys a keyboard and mouse from them. I think they've got a little bit of markup on that. Sorry, DinoPC, you're probably not going to like me saying it, but I think, you know, as a consumer, they could get maybe a little bit of a better deal. The other thing is the AIO cooler. If you didn't want to go for the white one, and I think even the black one would have quite a nice little contrast with the white chassis, you're going to save yourself about 24 quid. Now, when it comes to the operating system, as I mentioned earlier, you could ditch that completely and, well, you can pick it up cheap pretty much anywhere. eBay, CD Keys, scdkey.com, kingwin.com. There's loads of places where you can buy Windows cheap and you're going to save yourself probably about 100 quid, bringing this a little bit closer in line with kind of what you could do for yourself. Now, the other key kind of aspect of it is I don't actually mind paying a little bit more for a system if I know I'm going to get something extra from it. And personally, you're going to get UK support from DinoPC, and their support is actually really, really good. I know quite a few of the guys there, and yeah, I don't think you're really going to struggle if you have any problems with your system. You're also going to get that 5-year warranty, which to me, I always say a 3-year warranty probably adds about 100 quid's worth of value. A 5-year warranty, personally, it probably adds about 150 to 200 quid's worth of value easily off the bat. And that's kind of what you're paying extra, I guess, with this system. So for me, yeah, I don't think you could really go too wrong at this budget. But if it were me, as I mentioned earlier, there are a few things that I'd change just to make it a little bit more uniform. But personally, I don't think you're going to find better value for money when it comes to what you get system-wise as well as what you get kind of warranty-wise. And I mean, there's something else I want to show you. And this is normally, I guess, the taboo area. You see everything that looks nice on one side, you turn it around and, you know, you're in for a bit of a horror show. But look at that. DinoPC have done an absolutely amazing job when it comes to the cable management. They've really kind of thought about what they're doing, how much space they've got involved in the case, and obviously all of that's going to aid in things like airflow and stuff like that. So yeah, can I recommend this? Well, yeah, I think I can. And I love the fact that they've tried to keep it uniformed as well, using all Corsair parts with the case, with the AIO, using all Asus with the motherboard and obviously the graphics card. And the fact that it is kind of all AMD, but there's not a sign of red anywhere, I think is pretty clever. And yeah, it just looks, well, cool, shall we say. So there you go, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and hopefully you like this style of video where we kind of, I guess, look more at the system integrator and what you're actually getting from them as opposed to, I guess, the key components. Obviously we do show performance, but for me, buying a system from them is more about differentiating them between another system integrator or even building it yourself, what they actually give you on offer for your money, why you should buy a PC from the likes of DinoPC. And yeah, hopefully you like this style of video. If you did, you know exactly what to do, and I will see you in the next one, guys. See you later. Bye-bye. And for all them glorious games, they've gone with a 2 terabyte. The only other key component that you can't really see is the fact that they've gone with Windows 10 Home Edition. But again, if you wanted to configure this, something that I guess is a little bit weird is the fact that they have gone with a